This week in East Brunswick, Ken Shalhoop and the Channel 8 camera crew visited the Old Bridge Historic Fair and the new Keystone Park.
Hi, Ken Shalhoop here for the 1982 Historic Fair in Old Bridge, New Jersey. We're waiting the dedication of the new Keystone Park and the Joseph Chagnon Wildlife Preserve. We've got a real great day here, so stay with us and I'm sure you'll see some very interesting things. Hi, I'm with Robert Kale, who just recently got his Eagle Scout for some work that he did on this new Keystone Park. Robert, good to have you with us. Why don't you tell me basically what you did and what your contributions were to the park?
For my scout troop, for my Eagle project, I made 25 houses, and they helped me make them and then install them in the wildlife preserve for use.
And how long did it take you to do all this and to get your Eagle Scout?
It took me about 8 months total, planning and building and putting them in.
Well, Robert, I think you did a great job, and I'm glad that there's still people that are contributing in this way.
Thank you.
I'm with John Runyon and Joseph Chagnon at the dedication of the Keystone Park, and we'd like to just get some things from them. Joe, first of all, what were your contributions to the township that made this dedication possible?
Well, basically, we helped develop a master plan for land utilization for recreation and parks, as well as scheduling of events. We've, not I singly, but in concert with the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board, developed a funding policy whereby various athletic and social groups, volunteer groups, would know how they would receive the financial assistance from the township, and also developed a program of planning whereby the municipality would be able to budget for such activities.
Now, you asked me to bring John into this. John, you have this picture here. Why don't you explain to us what you have?
As you know, today we're dedicating Keystone Park and the Joe Chagnon Wildlife Area. Let me comment that he's a bit modest. Joe is a member of the Recreation Parks Advisory Board for 14 years, and for many of those years was chairman of the Recreation Parks Advisory Board. He's also the founding president of the East Brunswick Museum here in the village, and is active on the library board, the sewage authority, and many other community groups. But the town wanted to honor Joe for his contributions to the development of recreation parks and the quality of life in East Brunswick, and that's why we have Keystone Park, Joe Chagnon Wildlife Area. This is the Keystone Athletic Club, 1931. Keystone Park is named after the Keystone Athletic Club, and one of the gentlemen who served as a member of this club, is on this baseball team, is here today with us somewhere, and we're very excited to have this picture of the Keystone Athletic Club to put in the museum for all future folks to see who the folks were after whom this park is named. Hopefully we'll get a picture of Mr. Chagnon soon too, and we can put that up too. So we're very excited about this day and honoring Joe, which is much deserved, and honoring the memory of the contribution of the Keystone Athletic Club to the Township of East Brunswick and the historic village of Old Bridge.
Well, John, thanks for compensating for Joe's modesty, and Joe, congratulations. Thanks again.
After the ceremonies, we saw the sights and visited with some of the people at the street fair.
I'm with Bill and Martha Kramer. Thanks for being with us. First, I want to start with Martha. Every year, Martha makes some Raggedy Ann dolls, and she raffles them off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, I started about 7 years ago, and I thought I would like to do something for the street fair. So this was my donation, and it usually turns out to be a little over $100. So I figure that's quite a nice thing to do.
That sure is, and I tell you, you do a really nice job on the dolls. Bill, it's good to have you with us again this year. Why don't you tell us again your role in the Historic Fair every year?
Well, of course, my principal role is showing the history of the village. And of course, I do this either in a Baptist church or in a firehouse. This year it's in the base of the Baptist church. And it's all in slides, of course. And it's the same history that I do in the schools, and which we have on videotape now. And of course, I keep adding to it all the time, which is great. And of course, most of the pictures are given to me. And of course, I make slides out of them, and I include them in my presentation.
Well, I think that the presentation is also a very interesting thing for anybody who's interested in what goes on in this area. So thanks for being with us, and lots of luck this year with the raffle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let's keep looking in front of you. I'm standing behind a table of unbelievable goodies here, and I'm with Susan Waits. Susan, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Why don't you tell us a little bit of what you got here?
Well, we have homemade bread and fresh homemade donuts. The woman got up at 4 o'clock this morning to make them, and this is for the benefit of the East Brunswick United Church of Christ. And we're raising monies to do church work.
Okay, can you run by some of the breads that you have here?
Oh, we have all kinds. We have zucchini, banana nut, dill, herb bread. We had a little bit wider selection a little bit earlier in the morning, but we're selling out pretty fast. A lot of whole wheat, just a real varied selection.
Well, I had one of the donuts, and the donuts were great, and I hope you raise a lot of money today.
Well, we do too. We're hoping to raise a lot. We also have cookbooks here that have been made up from the church members. We've been selling them. I think this is the 3rd year now that we've had them out on our table, and everyone that's bought them has really enjoyed them.
Well, thanks for being with us, and have a good day.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here with
Genevieve McCarthy.
Genevieve. Thanks for being with us. Why don't you explain to us what you're doing with this quilt?
This quilt is being made by the senior citizens who go to the drop-in center that's situated now at the library. And it will be raffled off at Christmas time, we hope, if we get it finished. Each senior has started by first cutting out these pieces of paper, and then they take strips of different material and cut this out. And the paper is pinned onto this and basted to fit the shape as they go through. When they have a group of these put together, similar to this, they take their colors, and the first one, they have one in the first line, and then this next one is put on, and it's very, very small overcasting stitches. And as they go through, they gradually add on, going through until they have 6. The large flower, when it's completed, looks like this.
Hold it up so that the people can see. Mm-hmm.
Then they also have, they put in 2 of these white, so that when they join them together, they will all fit, and gradually, all along, they will work on it. On the ends, this is put together the same way, except that it goes on the end.
Well, Genevieve, it's really a nice-looking quilt, and your group does how many of these a year?
We just started. This is the first one. But the hard part of it is you have to get a large enough table or a floor, and you just take these and throw them on the floor or a bed so you can sort out your colors. Then the white material is put down, the backing is put next, and then this is put on top.
Okay, well, Genevieve, thanks for being with us, and I hope you have a successful raffle.
Thank you.
I'm standing with a very brave man. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Tony Jadzak, and I've been keeping bees for about 9 years. I work at the university and take care of their hives, and I'm going to show you the inside of a beehive. Beekeeping is also known as apiculture. Okay, in the top box, which is known as the super, they store the honey, and here it's mostly been capped off. And they cap it with wax to keep moisture from going inside. I'll show you, here's some unripe honey. And honey is made from nectar. The bees go out to the flowers, bring back the nectar, which is dilute with a little sugar. They deposit it in these cells here, and you can see it's shining. And they fan it and regurgitate it so they take the moisture out. And then once it gets ripe, they'll put the cap over it.
How do you keep the bees from stinging you?
Well, I have a smoker here, and you blow a little smoke in now and then, and that makes the bees eat honey, and it also disrupts their odors. They communicate by odors. After they sting you, it smells like bananas, and right away, if you get stung, you give a little smoke, and they can't smell, and the others won't come and sting. Okay, this is a frame of brood comb. This is where the young are. You see over on the side here, they're capped pupa. In the pictures there, it goes from egg, larva, pupa, then adult. And here you can see some of the larvae, and here's the queen bee right here.
Okay, well, thanks for the demonstration.
Hope you enjoyed the quick trip through the Old Bridge Historic District Street Fair. Also this weekend, the Myers Toy Store on Route 18 sponsored their Little Miss Lookalike contest. Over 75 hopefuls entered the contest, which offered a Shirley Temple collector's doll, gift certificates, and other prizes to the lucky lookalikes. On Saturday, a large audience watched as Erin Elizabeth Hussey of Old Bridge was chosen from a group of 10 finalists as this year's Little Miss Lookalike. First runner-up was Jenny Rice of Edison. Nicole Samantha Keller of North Brunswick was second runner-up. Here's another look at the 10 finalists.
Hi, glad you could make it back. You know, Mother told me there would be days like this. She just didn't tell me how many of them there would be. Well, as you can see, the work is just about completed. At least all the major things are done. We have some final finishing to do, like putting in doors in the bathrooms, fixing up the office, getting the refreshment booth set up, and making the lobby generally beautiful for all our great patrons who come see us. Of course, there's an awful lot of stuff that we're not going to be able to do right at the moment because, as they say, your money is starting to run out. And that's exactly what ours is doing. It's starting to run very low. We've really been very, very lucky, though, because we've had some marvelous contributions made to us. Kmart has donated our chrysanthemums, which, by the way, I do have to plant yet, but they donated them for the front of the building here. Hannah's Florist has given us baskets of hanging plants for our lobby. And we got a marvelous donation yesterday that Max Sam's Tile has donated to us 165 square feet, I believe it's called, of gorgeous ceramic tile. There's just one small problem. You do need an expert to put this down. So listen, if you know of anybody out there who would like to donate us a few hours and maybe come up and put our tile down for us, I'd be eternally grateful. I really can't see myself grouting. Oh, listen, before you leave, I have to tell you something. This year, for the first time, we were really sending out a really super subscription brochure, and it's got a lot of great stuff on it. You save up to $2.50 if you do pick up a subscription series from us. I'm having trouble with that word this morning. It's chilly out here. On Sundays, for all our Sunday subscribers, which we will have this year for the first time, by the way, is a Sunday afternoon matinee of all our shows. Why, we have a discount plan at 2 great restaurants in the area. So any of you housewives whose husbands are glued to the football, if it ever goes back on, or whatever sports they're watching, grab a friend, who cares who, get a subscription and go out for dinner later. Hey, I'd like to sit around and talk to you for a long time. You've been so great coming to visit me all these weeks. But listen, they gave me so much to do. I have to paint, sweep, vacuum, dust, and plant. I'll see you next week at the opening, okay? Take care. Hey, wait! I forgot to tell you something. Starting Monday, October 18th at 7 to 7:30 p.m. at night, I've got a great new show that we've come up with. It's called For Art's Sake. You know, there's a lot of talented people in the area. Actors, singers, dancers, craftspeople. And we're going to go visit them, do some on-location shots, talk with them, find out what really makes them tick. I'm so excited about it. So don't forget, tune in October 18th, 7 o'clock p.m. We're going to cover the dedication and the reception here at the Playhouse. You'll see some directors, hear them talk about funny experiences. Don't forget, join us. I'll see you.
Hello, I'm Adrienne Eisner of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Welcome to Consumer Aware. We want you to know that the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs is in process of investigating complaints from consumers who have experienced difficulties with automatic transmissions in General Motors cars built from 1976 to the present. Consumers who own cars which fit into this category are advised to contact our local office in East Brunswick to get a questionnaire. Information from the questionnaire will be analyzed by New Jersey Division personnel and experts. After studying data from the questionnaires, State Attorney General Erwin Kimmelman will decide whether there is in fact a violation of the New Jersey Consumer Fraud Act and what actions would then be appropriate. The majority of the complaints the division has received so far involve premature failure of General Motors turbo hydromatic 200 transmission in larger GM cars. General Motors introduced the turbo hydromatic 200 transmission in smaller automobiles in 1976. Starting in 1977, a similar transmission has been installed in GM's mid-sized and full-size cars, replacing a heavier transmission which had been previously used. If you would like to receive a questionnaire or have any further questions about this, please call our office at 254-4600, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware.
At this week's Township Council meeting, Mayor Fox made several proclamations, including the designation of October 3rd through 9th as National Employ the Handicap Week in East Brunswick. Later, a lengthy discussion took place in response to a citizen's question on reevaluation.
The answers in the paper. I am wondering when we can realistically expect figures on the reassessment or the reappraisal.
Yes, it has been addressed. The appraisal is scheduled to be booked for the 1983 tax year, so that the appraisal company is now winding up its database, and it's up to the assessor then to make the assessments on each individual home. The contract required them to complete the database by October 1982, and they will be on time. The assessor then goes over the information, feeds in the computer, and writes the assessment. After that is finished, a notice will be sent out to every individual homeowner or property owner, giving them their new assessment, what their tax rate would be based on that assessment, and what the equivalent 1981 tax rate would be with the new assessment. They will then be given a 1982 tax rate. They will then be given a certain period of time in which to appeal that assessment. This is long before the 1983 taxes are booked.
Is there anyone who can realistically give us an idea of what the difference is going to mean to the homeowner on a 100% basis as opposed to the percentage valuations that we had before?
Well, you can only go on experience of other towns, and the experience of other towns is that most people will not be affected. Those who are either very far away from market value now, or who have made improvements to their home without getting a building permit, so that the assessor would not know of those permits, who in fact increased the value of the home without notifying the township, may end up paying more. There are others who may be overassessed at this point who would be paying less, but the vast majority of people should be paying about the same.
But we won't get the shock until 83.
You will get the notice. It depends on when the assessor is done.
My own information, I was talking to Mrs. Szymanski, and she has just in the past mentioned the fact that any revaluation, that a third of the town would stay stable according to some of their past records. A third would go up, and a third would be stable. So you says that a third wouldn't go up. I probably predict myself right off the top of my head that 50% of the houses will have an increase because of the fact that anything over 10 years is going to probably be assessed higher. They drop the rate, but by the same token, there's a lot of old homes in town that take up quite a few homes that definitely will be assessed higher. And I'd like somebody in here to tell me that they're not going to be assessed higher. The older homes are probably going to be assessed the most. You take even Colonial Oaks, the homes over 10 years and 12 years will see a radical change. They will be higher. And I don't think it's the job of the council to say that not many homes will be going up. They definitely will be going up. I think very few homes, maybe the newer homes within probably a year or so, Indian Forest and all those, they probably will stay fairly stable. But you could rest assured that there'll be a radical change. And I'd like to hear something different to the statements that I have made.
Yes, very long.
Well, you know, Mr. Hudak, there are a couple of blanket statements you made that are simply not true. In the first place, Colonial Oaks as the council knows, because people were here protesting, has been reassessed several times. And the values there are probably closer to market than many other areas of the community. Secondly, you know, you just can't say that because a house increases in its assessed value, that older homes are going to increase, that there's going to be this across-the-board increase in taxes. The amount of money to be raised remains the same. It doesn't raise more money for the Board of Education or the county or the township. The amount to be raised is the same. And if everything is deeply undervalued and it goes up, then the rate is reduced proportionately. And you know, the studies that were done before the revaluation was begun, and the best information we have says that there will be as many who go down as go up, and that most will remain stable. And to simply say in a blanket way that everybody's going to go up in their taxes is just a plain lie, because it's not true.
The council and myself saw the Milton Fines report when he went to the county assessing office and he won his appeal. And he had a breakdown of quite a few homes in Colonial Oaks. And a lot of those homes are assessed at 55%. Do you remember the Milton? You remember that report that he did give the council, and we have a copy of? And he had a breakdown of about 50 homes, and it was assessed at 55%, and the selling price was quite higher. So what I'm trying to bring out is that there will be increases there. And there's a lot of homes in Colonial Oaks that are over 10 years old. And after looking at that Milton Fines report, I always thought that a lot of Colonial Oaks was overassessed. And after I looked at that report, many houses are underassessed. And what I'll do is I'll get the Xerox copy of that report, and I'll make sure that the mayor gets a copy, maybe can refresh his memory, and the council members, and to go over. He had a very, very wonderful breakdown, and almost development for development and block for block. He did a tremendous job. And that would back up some of my information.
Mrs. Burke? Just one other point on that. You've just confirmed what I said, Mr. Hudak. The average residential property at the present time, the ratio there is about 55%. And if you're at the ratio now, when you go to 100%, your taxes are not going to change because the rate comes down. And that's precisely what I was saying. You know, if the average home is at 55 and you're at 55, then your taxes are going to essentially not change. And that's just what I was saying to you, that Colonial Oaks was, in fact, kept up with the averages. Now, Mr. Fine's dispute was that his house was assessed at 70% or something, and he was trying to demonstrate that the others were at a lower percentage. But that lower percentage is right at the ratio for residential properties. And if that's the case, taxes will not change for that particular home. And you simply can't run around saying, well, if you're assessed at $100,000 now and that's 55%, and therefore you're going to be $210,000 in the future, your taxes are going to go way up, because they're not, because the rate's going to come down. Your value may double, but the rate's going to be cut in half. and it comes out to the same thing. And indeed, for people who bought houses more recently, their taxes are going to go down. And any way you cut it, it is not fair for some people to pay more than their fair share and others to pay less than their fair share. And the whole point of revaluation is to have everybody pay their fair share.